will see Kim Huybrechts, the Belgian #2, taking on Christoph Kachuk, who's playing some good darts at the moment, the Pole. Darius Labanauskas, the #1 from Lithuania, takes on Lisa Ashton, who's just created a bit of history here at the UK Open today by winning on the main stage and averaging more than 100 in so doing. But right now, it is the most recent new winner on the PDC circuit, the Riot Callan Rydz, as this young man from the northeast takes on Ross Smith. And it's one of the standout games on paper that we've got for you on stage 2. If it lives up to some of the previous stuff, it'll be an absolute belter. And look, I know Paul Nicholson can declare his bias here as a fellow Geordie, but he deserves his success, Callan, because he's played some excellent darts without reward for the last few years, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's gone through the mill a bit, and he's won at every level within the PDC system now. He's won Dev Tour, he's won Challenge Tour, he's done extremely well, and his success is not an accident because he's a naturally talented, brilliant, world-class dart player. And I'm not going to have a great deal of bias in this one because I genuinely really like Ross Smith, and I wouldn't wish ill on him at any point, but quite frankly, today he's looking a bit menacing.
He is, isn't he? Got the full beard, although to be fair, I'm not quite sure what's going on. This is a new shirt for Callan, and I'm not quite sure how to describe it.
Well, if it was made of glass, somebody's dropped it.
Yeah. Sort of like if Spider-Man's nemesis Venom was also wearing a 90s football shirt for Glasgow Rangers. It's somewhere like that, I don't know.
He looks like he's been hit with Mark Webster's little device. It's, you know, it's covered in web.
Ah, that's, yes. Covered in web. You know, covered in web. Right, there we go. Well, Rydz leaves tops anyway in this opening leg, one in which Ross Smith hasn't really got his act together. Ross Smith, the UK Open, special place in Ross Smith's career, because that was where he made a run to the quarterfinals, found himself in the final day of action. His boss wanted him in work, so he had to sort of skive off and hope that his boss wasn't watching on the telly.
Oops.
Didn't work out. Professional full-time dart player nowadays, Ross Smith, by the way.
One thing I loved about last week was when you were interviewing Callan. His microphone technique's a little bit of work.
Yeah, he needs a bit of work there.
But I loved how you were talking to him about how much it meant to him, and he said, "I'm the best player in the street now," because he lives in the same street as Chris Dobey. And I think he was referencing the fact that Chris Dobey hasn't won a senior title yet.
Yeah, little cadre of lads from the northeast. Obviously, Duz has picked up titles. Ryan Joyce has picked up a title now. Callan Rydz. But Chris Dobey, who's made a number of finals, hasn't got over the line as yet. He's been rather unfortunate. I mean, one of those finals he did average 110. Michael van Gerwen only lost 2 legs.
140.
Yeah, Ross Smith hasn't got a senior title yet, but I think he's one who, throughout the course of this year, will possibly threaten. I would classify him as maybe an underachiever so far, but there's so much ability there and so much drive and determination from Ross Smith. I think he's willing to do whatever it takes to get to success. Double 8 for him for the second leg.
Misses that, but he will be back. Yeah, I have to say, for some time I thought that Ross Smith looked like the next most likely title winner in PDC darts. I'd have had him ahead of Callan Rydz, to be brutally honest with you, and he hasn't managed to do that just yet. Doesn't mean to say it's not going to happen, but then there are players who have thought were bound to get a PDC title, and it hasn't happened yet and may never happen. One of them was supposed to play this weekend. We haven't seen him for months, in Cristo Reyes, who for a good year or two looked destined to win PDC titles, and probably multiple.
Well, I haven't seen Cristo for quite a long time, and if he's gone through some sort of transformation like Mark McGeaney has, we saw him in the last match, of course, where he's lost a lot of weight. We might not even recognise Cristo Reyes when we see him next.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, I don't know what's going on in Cristo's life. We haven't seen him playing any Pro Tour stuff or anything at all. So I do wish him the very best. I hope we get to see him back playing because he's a phenomenally talented darts player. But I've got no idea if he's even throwing darts at the minute. So who knows when we'll see him.
And he's a very, very nice bloke to be around. He's always got a laugh and a joke and a bit of a smile. Even though he hasn't got the greatest English, he can still make you laugh. Well, I might have been
140.
laughing about Callan's shirt at the start of this match, but Callan's going to be the one laughing if he wins this match, because this is a particularly nasty draw, in my opinion. About as nasty as Barney got with Suter.
Yeah, I don't think either player would have been bowled over by being given this. In an open draw, I mean, look, you could get Van Gogh and a right, couldn't you, or go in Price. So you can't complain that much if it's a player outside of the top 32 in the world. But at the same time, it's not an easy one.
Maximum to leave this finish. That claw grip of the dart. Every finger is curled. It's a very individual grip. 77 scored. That leaves 66.
87.
Pressure applied on the 64. And look at the right hand of Rydz before he throws that first dart. Double top. And watch it the next time you get the chance, because he's a bit of a magician. He can juggle those darts with his fingers. It's a bit of a twirly action before he throws it. Tops for Smith for 2-1.
Very nicely done. Ross Smith moves into the lead, pins that for a 14 darter. I'm quite interested to see what he can do with these darts. I have to say, nobody in the world is going to beat DJ Sayer, the American player. Do you remember what he used to do? No. He played in the World Series events in America for the last few years, and he would literally sort of bounce the dart 99 off the inside of his elbow and catch it back in his hand. So in the soft bit with the crook of your elbow, like, he would have it in his hand and then just sort of drop it on there, bounce it back up and then catch it. And he'd be doing this over and over and over again, stood at the back of the stage, like he was juggling, seemingly doing it automatically without even looking at the dart. It's almost hypnotic. Good player, DJ Sayer, as well.
That's quite a skill. Try bouncing a dart off the inside of your elbow. I mean, how do you get the balance right every time?
I assume he didn't stab himself very much, because otherwise he would stop doing it, you would think.
Now look at Rydz here. There you go. Little twist, and then he puts it into the third finger. And looking very effective.
126.
Ross Smith coming under pressure on his own throw here. Yeah, nice. That's just such a nicely constructed, you know, he's missed high. If you're going to miss, that's where you want to miss. Then he uses that marker dart perfectly and then follows that one in. I mean, if you're not going to hit a 180, that's such a good 140. And he does so much stuff that is so good, Ross Smith.
Yeah, a classy 140. You stay classy, Ross. Oh, that is classy, isn't it? Tops. Very upright darter, just has to use the angle. And Rydz is holding on to Ross Smith here, and will do so with a shot at tops himself. Very good. And in times gone by, you might have got a bit too frustrated. Very much like Bradley Brooks did earlier, but I think something that you said to me last week about Callan, I think he's growing up before our very eyes.
I think so. It's, you know, we've seen Callan. He's always had talent. We've seen him go and throw 108 averages back to back to back in Q School and still miss out. And you can see the frustration. You can see him just like bubbling away, just wanting to show everybody how good he is. We saw it all the way through last year when he finally got on the tour. The number of times that Callan Rydz would play well, be averaging high 90s and lose in a last leg decider. It was happening over and over and over again. And you could see it was like, what do I have to do? And then if you keep on playing that well, it will turn and you will get little bits of luck. I mean, we've seen him at Ali Pali and he's won games and not played particularly well, to be honest. He's not covered himself in glory at the World Championship, the biggest, but that'll come. He's just got to learn to get used to life on the tour. You can't go and expect that you're going to be in the quarters and semi-finals of World Championships in your first 2 or 3 times. It doesn't all happen like that, like for Luke Humphries or Dimitri van den Berg. And let's be honest, Luke Humphries is doing a lot of losing 6-5 despite playing well at the minute. He would love a senior title like Callan Rydz has got.
Well, Callan Rydz has done something that neither Dimitri van den Berg or Luke Humphries has done, and that's win a senior title on the floor.
Yeah, well, exactly. There's a big old list of players who you would expect to have a senior title on the Pro Tour who just don't have one.
And now he'll want another.
156.
This has got Ross Smith written all over it. He loves a checkout that ends in a double 18. Stay away from that one. That one is precarious to say the least. Where do you go here, though?
Nothing wrong with the 19s here, is there?
59. Callan, you require 160.
You don't really want to go 19s there, but you're forced to. That's where Callan has gone. He goes for the left portion and is a bit too fiery with that second dart.
Russia require 97.
Important like this. Could be a third consecutive break.
Well, there was an option of going double-double, but Ross seemed very, very focused. You don't really mind if players go a certain route and don't hit it, as long as they've got a clear idea in their head about what they want to do. You're not going to hit every target. It's the ones who stop and go, oh, should I don't know what to do, and then they miss it. And you think if you just had a bit more clarity of thought and conviction, you might have given yourself a better chance of pulling off what you're aiming to do, whatever that may be.
Yeah, Ross looks like someone who knows exactly what he wants to do before he does it. And that leads me into another little thing that he has changed. It's not just that menacing look that he's got now. He looks like someone who should be in the octagon. And I wouldn't want to face him in the octagon or in any ring for that matter, because he's a lot taller and stronger than me. But he's changed his stem and flight combination to that one piece. I think they're called condors, where the stem actually is attached to the flight. It's one piece of poly.
Have you used those?
I haven't.
Because you have used the solid stem flight combo, haven't you? Those ones before.
Yeah, the moulded flights do have a very big advantage because you have exact right angles at the fold, so you don't get any differences in ballistics when they're thrown, and the flights are exact right angles. You get exactly the same every time, and that's what you've got with Ross Smith there, a moulded flight that is flying really well. The more traditional, just poly flight and poly stem here from Rydz gets a decent visit, but Smith should equalise here in this tight match, and I expected this one to be tight.
Yeah, not much between them, and that's another nice leg of darts there. We've seen some 14 darters, that's a 13 darter. They're both averaging in the sort of mid to low 90s, but it's oscillated between the sort of low 90s and the high 90s, these guys, and they've sort of matched each other. There haven't been many legs in this game where one guy's gone out and the other guy has been nowhere near.
140.
More players through to the last 64. Scott Waits via
100.
a 6-4 win over Martin Atkins, who we saw on this board earlier on. Scott averaged nearly 102 in that match. Steve Lennon through with a 99.4 average. That's a very good performance. And Andy Hamilton through with a 99. After only just getting through his first game of the day, he's found improvement to get through to this evening's action and put himself in the hat.
And Brendan Dolan through as well against Mike Kivenhoven. Ryan Searle won 5 of the last 6 legs to overcome Jack Main and win that one 6-5. So heck of a comeback from heavy metal Ryan Searle. This could leave him on a 2-darter. Not quite.
140.
Peter Hudson through with a 6-1 win against Gino Voss. He likes the UK Open, Peter Hudson.
Yes, he does.
59.
He was a big hit at Bolton one year. Can he be the man in Milton Keynes? Well, that's a bad first start. And Rydz may look at the same area of the board here for the 164. He's looking south. Again for Bull. Oh, yeah, there's a blow and a half. Rydz with a right hook to take the lead.
Barnstormer from Callan Rydz. 164 checkout under enormous pressure. And this game continues to deliver.
Oh, and even more as well. I knew this game was going to be good. So I am not surprised by anything I see. Even that.
Yes. This is what we're talking about. More. Yes, plenty more. Oh, 4 perfect darts to start the leg for Ross Smith. Callan Rydz, he's just gone 164, 180. And there's more perfect darts, because that's 8 in a row. Oh, it would have been 9.
Just came out a bit late, doesn't it? You saw on the right-hand side of the screen, the shoulder, just trying to save it in the air a little bit. But it is honours even here in leg 8.
60.
But via no treble there, Ross Smith may be handing the opportunity to Rydz. Oh, what a great last start that is. Gets him in 2 dart range, which Ross Smith doesn't have the luxury of, but can he find 101 and 2?
Just dragging both of those darts down. Is it a sign of tension? It often is when that happens.
86.
Treble 18. Staying in the 18 segment. Bullseye again. Oh, not this time. Not this time.
Russia requires 64.
Well, he's dodged the bullet, and now he's got to find his way to a level game again. 1 dart at double 16. It's very, very good. I just can't take my eyes off this game.
Well, I hope whoever does win this continues playing like this for the rest of the weekend, because I genuinely think they've got a chance of going deep. They're both averaging 97. That haymaker from Callan Rydz, the 164 bullseye checkout when Ross Smith was on 50 to break. And then Smith comes back with 4 perfect darts to start the leg. I mean, Callan started with 5 perfect darts in that leg, only got the 1 at bullseye to break. It's just been high standard. When one gets better, the other one goes with him. That's why their averages have been hovering around each other all the way through the game, even when they've gone up and down by 5 or 6 points.
100.
Rydz with a 180 can leave a 170 from here. That will do. Gives him a half dart lead. Keane Barry's 5-1 up against Gate Nenches so far. So Keane Barry's in a fabulous position. This one is a lot tighter. And Smith surely has to go to the 17s, but
60.
decides to go for the 60. And he's in a bit of trouble now.
Just, I mean, he's quick, but he's also smooth. He makes it look simple. He makes it look simple this game in a way that Ross Smith doesn't. Ross Smith is very methodical. You know, you can see the process that he's going through. Now, in itself, he can make it look quite straightforward, but Callan Rydz just make it look so natural at times.
Double top. Oh, and it just came out a little bit late again. It was very, very close. This one is getting edgy. Oh, hits the bull and gets 1 dart at double 4. The 2 darts were thrown really well,
57.
but the 3rd was not. And Rydz
20.
can rediscover the lead right here with 10s. Awkward switch to the top.
On the 9th leg,
What
Callan.
is awkward? Nothing for Rydz,
Ross to throw first.
who is in front 5 legs to 4 again. What a game this has been.
Well, I don't think, I'm just having a look at the notes I've made, I can't think of a leg of darts where anybody has missed 2 or 3 at a double and then lost it. I just don't think it's happened, because if they are getting chances to break each other or win legs, it's taking 1 or 2 darts and it's being done.
50.
And they're doing it under pressure because the other guy is there waiting, and that's what makes really tense, high quality darts games. They're both there, they're both looking to go out in 4 or 5 visits to the board, and you cannot miss because you know your opponent will punish you if you do, and there hasn't been a lot of missing in this game.
You can see it from both of their faces that they're working so hard right now. I know Callan, like you say, he makes things look easier, but every dart is getting 100% attention from Ross Smith. I love that mechanical action, but you can see the emotions on his face after every visit.
It's a wonderful looking throw, and he's a very good dart player to watch.
99.
But you can, you know what I mean? Like Callan just looks like he could throw him over his shoulder and just, this is what he does. I'm just built for this.
I think Callan Rydz was born to be a professional darts player,
140.
and he's living the dream right now. The dream is to get into the hat for tonight, and he could get there in the next 30 seconds, but he needs Ross Smith to miss this first.
He's not hit a ton plus checkout in this match so far, Ross Smith. Now would be a good time to change that. Double 19 does change that. And double 19 keeps him in this match. What a fabulous contest here on stage 2. Callan Rydz and Ross Smith, a one-leg shootout for the evening session here on the opening day of the Ladbrokes UK Open.
97.
You said about those 6-5s, Dan. Last year it was constantly 6-5, 6-5 for Callan Rydz. How valuable was that last start treble 19 in his first visit of this last leg of the contest?
84.
Got to pick up trebles at least once a visit. Needs it on the last start again and gets it.
Whew.
You can see the tension on Rydz's face. Just can't wait to get to the hockey. And he is watching everything that's going on right now. The score sheet, the dartboard, the emotions. It's all there to witness. And he's got it right here. He's picking off that 1 treble a visit. It's enough right now.
As things stand, there's only small margins in it. But Ross Smith has a higher average. He's hit more 180s, and he's got a better checkout percentage than Callan Rydz. He is second favourite to win this game. And part of it is because of that majestic 164 checkout, which denied Ross Smith a chance to go 4-3 up with a break in this game.
99.
It's doing the right things at the right moments. There's been a lot of that from both of them in this match. But Callan Rydz has piled in another score to leave 1-2-4 for the match. And Ross Smith, if he doesn't hit 2 trebles in his next 2 darts, Callan Rydz gets 6 darts in there to win it.
4 visits to the board for Rydz. 4 big trebles.
140. Callan, you require 100.
1 more big treble will give him a match dart. And there it is. The bull. And that would have been the match. That was so finely hit
57.
on that 25. That was so close to the bull. This would be haymaker in capitals.
Oh, it would have been obscene. It would have been a fitting way for somebody to win this match.
57.
He leaves himself on a 2-darter, but Callan Rydz is getting match darts at the outer ring. Do the simple bit first. 17 for double 4.
Shot.
And there it is. Callan Rydz wins it by 6 legs to 5. They broke each other once, but that was it. Nip and tuck right the way through. Superb quality. Both men averaging around about 97, but only one could progress, and it is the Riot, Callan Rydz, who is on a run at the UK Open, having picked up his first senior PDC title just a matter of days ago.